Welcome back to Aw Ship, a team building focused podcast. This is my 11th podcast as I launch into this world. I've made it to 11, y'all. This has freaking been awesome. I'm here to talk through and work through a very special and important subject for all companies or businesses, building a better team with the customer in mind. This is missing from everyday life. There are companies large and small that have forgotten who are paying their salaries or the bills of that company that the individual works for. You see this every day, trust me. Thank you to everybody that has returned and given me feedback. Any feedback is welcome. Again, this is my 11th podcast, so the more you give me, the more ability that I have to make this a more enjoyable and usable podcast for you for future episodes. Please subscribe to me here on YouTube or follow me on LinkedIn. I'm going to start dropping a couple different little hints each week leading up to my videos on what the subject matter is. You can also email me for consultation on your team or content suggestions as well. RA Enterprises is here to help everyone. Anyone can learn. Anyone can help. Over the years as a director of operations for Premier Logistics Partners, I've learned and seen how a good team can come together and how that team can impact others. RA Enterprises is how I'm giving back to others, helping others, serve them in a great way to support them. At the same time, it will make me a better person, a better father, a better husband, and a better leader to my team. This week I'm doing something a little different for Rip from Headlines. Everybody has difficulties in their life over time. And this week it's been difficult in several different avenues. So the Rip from Headlines is really it reminds me of just two small things here: patience and attitude. Right? You gotta have patience. You gotta have a good positive attitude because nothing in our lives will get done. Now, you won't be able to support one another, your spouse, your kids, your team. We wouldn't have workers helping us when we go to the gas station, the grocery store. So really, Ripped from the Headlines this week is just on personal well-being. And there's a quote that I want to share here. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. It is, "Without ambition, one starts nothing. Without work, one finishes nothing. The prize will not be sent to you. You have to win it." Now, we can break that down, right? Without ambition, one starts nothing. So you don't get up in the morning and go to work without ambition of some kind. Without work, one finishes nothing. Well, people would argue that a job is work. Well, technically, no. If you go into your bathroom and you take a shower, that's technically work. You don't cleanse your body by not taking a shower. There's no way for you to get a prize just because. You have to win it or earn it. So for me this week, this is actually a quote that I get in email, and I get quotes in my email for motivation and for inspiration. And this is one from Tuesday, actually. I thought it was just pivotal. So the Rip from Headlines is just patience and attitude. We all need it. We all have it. We just got to tap into it. And we can accomplish whatever we set out for that to be. This week, we're going to talk about a foundation. It's a foundation piece of any team, any company, any organization. It could be sports related. It could be nonprofit. Right down to the start of what you build from and move up. Trust. Okay? Now, I talked about a foundation, but let me first give you some definitions here. The noun of trust is firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. and use it as a verb, believe in the reliability, truth, ability, and strength of. Wow. Sort of interesting right there. Now, let's look a little bit further. Let's think of more of a business sense, right? Or building of a building, a structure. And when you do that, it's integrity, accountability, and mutual respect are foundational for the building trust in professional and personal relationships. Trust is critical for organizational success. 100% true. Now, talked about building and foundation, right? So, what is a foundation? We all like a building. It's, the bottom floor. If you have a house with a basement, it's the basement. But really, what is a foundation? It's the lowest load-bearing part of a building, typically below ground level, and underlying basis and principle. Huh. That's interesting, right? You're building something on top of a structure. So you build it. Everything up has to be supported by that foundation. If you don't trust that foundation, you will fail. Let me be honest. Let me be truthful. Let me be blunt. If you don't build on trust, on that foundation of trust, you will fail. I'm not making that up. Google it. You will fail. Because when your foundation is not solid, when the wind starts to sway and that building sways back and forth with the wind, earthquake, same thing. Structures fall. When a business does not have a good foundation, a good trust level, you have people doing their own things. And when people do their own things, there's no continuity, there's no streamlining, there's no ideas that mesh together. So when your company is going off in all these different directions, how are you actually going to support your customer if everybody has a different avenue to do it? It does remind me of something. It's a book. I don't have a copy of it here. It's actually at my office. But Patrick Lencioni is a great author, a great inspirational speaker. He has classes on different things, and he's a business guru. He's a really cool cat. I like him. I saw him live at an event in Alpharetta a couple years ago. But he has a book. It was published in 2002. It's called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Now, in that, he has a pyramid, right? So 5 dysfunctions of a team. And it starts at the bottom. And it builds up. But that bottom is sort of trust, or the absence of trust. And I don't want to go too much into, what his book's about, but it's a really good book, so I recommend you go pick it up. But at that very bottom, okay, this is a dysfunctional team. Hesitates to ask for help, conceals weaknesses, dread meetings or avoid team members. That's just going to create failure. If you have team members that don't want to go to meetings, right? Here's your foundation, right? This is your team foundation. Well, in a team, you got to communicate. You got to work on problems. You got to work through and find solutions for customers. If your members don't want to go to a team meeting, look, I got 2 hands. They're weaved together on purpose here now. It's like this. If 2 team members don't want to go, what's going to happen? Oh no, these 2 didn't want to go. Look at that. That foundation now has a massive hole in it, y'all. It's going to crumble. Okay? Now, within his trust pyramid, or his pyramid in general, the high-performing teams, good functioning teams, safe environment to speak up, team members help out each other, and leveraging the strength of the team. So think about that. This entire podcast has been about having a team with a customer in mind. When everybody is intertwined, when everybody is together for that foundation, and they're working for one solid goal, that customer is going to win. What else happens? This is the best part, y'all. Money. Why does money happen? Because you're selling a product, you're selling a service, you are servicing, you're doing something to help that customer. When that customer is happy, they buy. When they buy, you get paid. Why do you get paid? Because your service, your product is moving from here to there. We just don't go to work. People don't start businesses not to make money. We don't. Even in a charity or in a nonprofit, you go to work to get donations. Those donations come to you for you to do something with. You're supporting battered women. You're supporting children, orphanages. You're supporting I don't know. But the money you bring in supports something. Somebody's paying you to support and take care of your customer in a charity. It's a little different. People have to voluntarily give you cash, give you money. But it's the same thing. If they don't believe in you, if they don't believe in your cause, they're not giving you money. If they see you're dysfunctional and the money's not going to where they want it to go or would have understood where it was going to go, they're not going to give you money. If you produce a bad product that falls apart when somebody goes to use it, nobody's going to buy it. Your sales plummet and you go out of business, or you find a new tool, or you make an enhancement. Trust. When you leave for the day, if you have 2 or 3 schedules, for lack of a term right now, you have early in, midday, and late in. So you cover a multitude of times. When you leave for the day, you have the trust in your team that is still on the clock. Think of a call center. Think about calling, and I'm not knocking on them at this time. I'm not. But think about when you have something go wrong and you call AT&T. It used to be AT&T was, or Bell South, or Mama Bell, as they used to be called sometimes because of the Bell companies. But they had the monopoly on home phone service because you had to get a phone that was connected to a wall, y'all. I'm not making this up for you young people. But if you called AT&T and you lived in New York and you needed help and it was 9 o'clock at night, somebody out in California is picking up that phone and taking your call. If you work on the East Coast and you leave your job at 5 o'clock, you have a team in another area that is covering until later in the evening. The trust factor there is the fact they have been trained and they know what they're doing. Trust is important within your team as a small, intimate group of people that are put together. If you're not trusting of one another when you walk out of the office, when you go home, when you're dealing with a project, you're dealing with a sticky situation of a customer, you have to trust that they know what they're doing. And if they don't know what they're doing, don't point it out. Support them. Help train them up. The one biggest mistake that I see in most businesses is that there's a lack of training. There's a lack of responsibility within that training. You as an individual should seek out more information on a subject. Don't wait for it to be given to you. It's never going to be given to you on a silver platter. Go back to my quote that I had earlier, right? The prize will not be sent to you. You, as that person, learning a task, learning a process, building something, research why. Ask questions on why. Your personal knowledge of that in your role, on your team, as part of a business, will lead to such exponential knowledge for yourself. You, in turn, make your team better. In return, your team is better to your customers. You can lead your team into greatness if you have a knowledge base. Nobody's going to give it to you. Every company has SOPs. We have one at Premier Logistics Partners. Specifically in the operations team, we have a 3-ring binder with all of our SOPs. Like, about that thick or so. And we go through periodically and we update those SOPs. We would like to hand that book to a new hire or to anybody and just have them read through it and then be able to do each thing that we do without even having a whole lot of training behind it. When you get something like that, that's how to do something, right? It tells you how to do it. You still got to learn. People that are self-starters, people that are self-learners, typically ask questions and they seek out information. That's key for your team when you're hiring as well. Finding the right people for the right seats. But it all comes down to trust. Your team has to be able to interact, talk, because that foundation, again, is here. You don't want that hole. If you have half your team not working together, do I need to say anymore? That team is working together. It's a solid foundation. Foundation is key to all businesses. Your individual teams, your individual verticals, departments, all being on the same page. But, mighty, mighty big key. Upper management, senior management, ownership. It does travel down. If you have dysfunction at the top, usually you're going to have dysfunction at the bottom. Meaning, senior managers, VPs, presidents, boards. If they are dysfunctional, most of the organization is going to be dysfunctional too. It starts at the bottom of every department and every team. Leverage the strength of your team members. You might have a team member that is just very articulate in the way that they communicate. I am not a communicator, y'all. I write emails. I have to reread emails 5-10 times. I admit that is a weakness for me. I lean on my wife sometimes for that. I lean on one of my team members, Jeremy. He does a great job articulating. He has a way of softening statements. Strength of your team members is vital to how your team interacts. Now, you don't want a bully. Bully, I'm not talking about a bully. I'm not talking about someone that has just a lot of gusto. What I'm talking about is the fact that everybody brings something different to the table. Okay? Tap into that. Patrick Lencioni has another book called, in concept, called The Working Genius. That's another thing. Everybody has a different spot on the bus, on that wheel. They're different cogs in that wheel. When the wheel turns, again, it's a wheel, right? Bad wheel. But a wheel, it turns. And if it's nice and round on the edge, it's just going to keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling. Everybody plays a pivotal role in that wheel to make sure that surface stays curvature so that the ball will roll. Okay? Having to move here, but think of a golf ball, right? This happens to have a Star Wars emblem on it. Not sure where I got it from, but point is that it's round and it rolls. It rolls just like that because it's round. A square ball does not roll. Your team members are the curvature of the ball. If everybody's working in lockstep, the ball's always going to roll. It's always going to go somewhere because the team is pushing it somewhere. It's just rolling, and it's 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 rolling. If everybody is together in that roll, the customer wins. When the customer wins, money will come in the door. Okay? So I want you to go through the day, through the week, thinking about foundation and trust. It's extremely important that you have trust in your business. Shout out corner. This is a crazy one this week, guys. Just simply, you wouldn't have these or this. Notepads, copy paper, Post-it notes. We talked about Post-it notes. Unless we didn't have paper. So that's a shout out corner. Paper. The earliest known paper has been tracked all the way back to 2000 BC, or I'm sorry, 200 BC in China. So some archaeologists found some paper that was embedded into a brick home, and it presumably as part of a prayer and blessing. Well, rewind time just a little bit, and there was a guy named, and I don't know how to say his name, but it's right there, who worked for a Chinese emperor. And he came up with the way of basically processing and in making paper. Guys, paper. Think about everything that is made from paper. Everything from toilet paper to paper towels to books. Everything we know in the modern world has some type of derivative of paper associated with it. If you buy a new computer, yes, a computer is not paper. It's not. But it comes with an instruction booklet. It comes with a key to the software that is printed on it. You need paper to put that key into your computer to use the software. Guys, I think this is, to me, this is one of the top 5 inventions of all time, paper. Because it is how we've done communications. It's how we're, spreading the word with different things. But again, we won't have any of it unless there's some dude in China. And it's sort of interesting. I say that because right now the U.S. and China, we don't quite get along. But we can thank them for paper. Quote of the week corner. This one's an interesting one. I've quoted this gentleman in the past. But your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you are willing to do. Your attitude determines how well you do it. Lou Holtz, Hall of Fame coach, Notre Dame. He had a great coaching career. But think about that. Sort of like my quote that I started off this podcast with. Your talent determines what you can do. That's knowledge. That's what things that you're good at. Your motivation determines how much you are willing to do. Well, it's true. If you're not willing to get out of that bed and go take that shower, you're never going to get clean. Your attitude depends on how well you do it. If you have a negative attitude, whatever you were working on will come out not correct. It will come out somehow skewed. If you're trying to lay wood and you have to cut wood in a certain design and your attitude is piss poor when you do it, you're not going to make the perfect cuts. Guys, let's think about that as we go through the week. And ladies, have your attitude be positive. Positive outcomes will come with you. Well, this has been a great podcast this week. Some sort of in depth and some meat. We'd love to hear from you. So drop me a line at the address above. If you have any comments, any questions, if you want to reach out and just ask me questions just on how I handle things with my operations team and building our team. Please subscribe to me here on YouTube and follow me on LinkedIn. I hope everybody has a great week. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.